Hey there, YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about something a little different than we have in the past. Normally we're under very technical devices. Today we're going to look at a 21:9 monitor from LG. So IPS, 21:9 aspect ratio, 25-inch screen. 25 inches, it doesn't really count because when they're talking 25 inches, they're talking about diagonally. So on a 21:9, the inch factor is much different than if you're talking a normal 16:9 monitor. So the sizing is a little bit off. It's not as big as a 25-inch monitor in a standard form factor that you would see. I need something to cut this open with. So some of the concerns I have with this monitor, the number one thing is obviously support. There's not many things that are actually made in the 21:9 form factor. So the first thing we have here is power converter. Seems pretty long cord length, so that shouldn't be an issue for setting up on a standard desktop. Comes with one standard HDMI cable, some kind of cable management device, some screws, and part of the stand. Over here we've got our pamphlet, a CD, which you actually are you're actually gonna probably have some driver issues with this if you don't actually use the CD to install the drivers, because there's a lot of other things too that go into this. Like you can do dual input and have it's really like it's a 3x4 screen at that point, but you can have a 3x4 screen on this end and a 3x4, so it's almost like a vertical mounted 3x4 from two different sources. So you could have maybe a laptop over here and your Xbox One feeding over here. Don't know why you'd want a 3x4 screen. It'd be kind of a strange format for like gaming and that kind of thing. But nonetheless, a dual source support. And also, I don't know what the latency of the input is on that dual source. I do know that I have I've spoken to LG directly about their latency on input, and it does change depending on the use. So if latency is an issue for you, if you're gaming professionally or even just trying to be competitive online, I don't really know if this is the screen for you guys. It does have a matte finish, guys, which is super clean. I mean, I'll move it around a little bit. We do have plenty of overhead lights here, so normally there'd be a lot of glare on a really glossy screen. So it's a very matte finish, and as you can see, the bezel is very close, and that's designed to do multiple side by side or one upside down on top, so you have a much larger, I don't know what the aspect ratio would be at that point, but much larger screen. So it's an interesting setup. So let's look at the back here, guys. This is kind of the important part. So you've got two standard HDMI in ports here. You have a digital a display port in, and then you got your, looks like a headphone jack, but the interesting thing is that it looks like it's actually optical in. So that's pretty cool. So you can support your high-end gaming equipment for the screen. So I'm kind of excited to see how this all works out. Once we get it all set up, I'll actually be doing a display grab using my Elgato. So we'll actually see how well it's working out. We're going to set something up in that format. And then we'll also do a camera input where we're sitting in front of it with the camera behind us, because we're going to test out some of the dual inputs, and I don't have two Elgatos. So we'll do a dual input using a standard camera to do the full review. We will also do some testing on this to check synchronization of sound versus video input, separate the two out, stream some audio to, or stream some video to it from an outside source while playing the audio on time, and then we're going to key it up and actually see what the time difference is with all the different configurations, because that's mostly what I'm curious about. What is the latency of the display when you have it set up in different configurations, like the dual input where you have your screen shared with two different sources. So yeah, stay tuned, and we'll do the review, the full review, probably 2 or 3 weeks after we've had some time to play with it, because like I said, this is a very different screen. This isn't the normal kind of screen. But from initial looks, guys, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful screen. Another big promise here is that IPS. Okay, so IPS, not a technical monitor guy or a screen guy, but supposedly what it'll do, if we're looking at something, say in the 19 by, what's the standard format, guys? 16 by 9. So if you're looking at something from 16 by 9, you're gonna have this huge letterboxing issue, right? Well, IPS supposedly makes it so that they're able to turn off the backlight or the lighting in those areas, so it looks like a continuation of the bezel, so you don't have a distraction of like a bright, just black bar on each side of your screen. So we will be testing that as well. Let's see how well it actually works. Stay tuned and you'll see some cool footage. Thanks, guys. All right, guys. One last thing. If you like the video, subscribe below, and please share it out if you're interested in this. If you do subscribe, I will make sure that I shout out to you guys and let you know when the full review comes out for this. I'm super excited about this device, guys. Thanks.